You know where started the first discernment? It was the dialogue of the serpent with Eve. To seek a discernment, to obey God or to not to obey God. Eve said, God said to us not to eat from this fruit. And then the devil said, let us start a discernment. It is true that God said this or not. What did God said? And Eve said, he said, when we will eat, we will die. No, this is not true, said. Let us discern. You will know what is good. And so they made a process of discernment, the first, and ended. And we know the result of this discernment, a catastrophe of all humanity. So we are now bearing in our souls, in our bodies, the consequences of the original sin, of this bad discernment. So discernment can only be for the good. Discernment can only be to fulfill the will of God. But to continue to practice adultery, it is not fulfilling the will of God. It is offending God. So it is an anti-discernment, a pseudo-discernment, which will confirm the soul in sin and lead this even to the danger to lose his soul for all eternity. And so we cannot play with our eternity. As the proverb says, we cannot play with fire. So we cannot play with eternity. It is clearly the will of God that sexual acts are only permitted and willed by God, wanted by God, inside a valid matrimony. This is a clear will of God. There is no other exception. No. As there is no exception, so one who can lie, I like to lie, but let us make a discernment so that they can continue to lie. Or someone likes to steal. Okay, I'm so existentially linked with the stealing, with my family and so on, maybe a mafiosi, says, let us make a discernment that I can a little bit continue to steal. It is the same. At a discernment to, even in the confessional, then to allow the adulterers to continue in adultery. It is a contradiction and a very great danger for the souls and a grave responsibility, more on the priest who allows this and more on the Pope who seems to allow this, who seems, I see, and who does not make nothing to prevent this. And I think to see that Amoris Laetitia goes in this direction.